Hello again, welcome to my channel. So we're on the last episode of the installation of the DRRO kit on the Boxford. So as you can see, lathe's all back together again, back in its normal position. So all we still need to do is find some way of mounting the screen, connect it all up, and give it a test. Here's the screen. I've already fitted the arm, the mounting arm. So there's that bit there. It's attached over here, and then we've got this little bracket that we have to mount somewhere. I'm thinking I might, instead of trying to get too clever, I might just screw it onto the side of this little shelving unit like that, because that'll probably be quite well located. Alternatively, the wall's a bit too far away, so I think ideally that'll be quite a good spot. Put the screen about sort of here, and then when you're working it, you can reach it quite easily without leaning too far in. So I'm thinking that's probably the way to go. So I'll move the camera and we'll do that. I think the easiest way is just going to be get one screw in first, and then we can line it up from that. Let's pop that in there, I think. Right, and then you can just eyeball that square. It's not come through. Yeah, it's pretty rigid. This little shelving unit has got some support brackets underneath, so I've got loads of weight in it, but it's very rigid, so I feel like it should be all right. And then let's have a look at the actual unit and mounting. I think this is going to be kind of tricky as that attaches, but then there's these plastic washers that I think go in here, but I'm not sure because it didn't come with any instructions. And there goes one of them. So I wonder what's going to be the easiest, going in from the top or the bottom. I don't know now. Probably the top, I think. At least if I go in from the top, I can trap one of them. Yeah. This is like 3 arms required situation. Here we go. That actually worked. I'm flabbergasted. Before we tighten all of this up, let's just see if we're roughly in the right place here. I mean, that'll come out all the way to there. That's actually pretty good location, that. Yeah, I like that. We'll zoom out a bit and you can see. Yeah, so that's not too bad, I think. I feel like that's a good position. I haven't obviously I've not tightened everything up, but can move it back out the way, bring it forward, tilt it down if necessary and up. So lots of adjustment there. I'll mount it fairly rigid, I think, and it doesn't get in the way of access to the rear or the gears. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. Operate from here, right in front of you. You can see exactly what you're doing. Yep, I like that. That's a good position for it. So I think we'll tighten that up in that spot. And then one other thing, there is actually an earth connection on the back. So I think I need to run a cable. Obviously the other cables are connected here, so I'll probably cable tie them together with another cable to connect to an earth on the lathe somewhere. But I think before I do that, I'm going to have a look and see how much continuity there is through here, because if I can just earth to any old screw and I've got continuity through the whole machine, it'll make the whole machine earth to the DRO. I think it's just to prevent interference. But let's just have a look. If I touch the bed, I mean, it feels like the earth, even to the, yeah, all the metal seems to be connected. So yeah, I don't think it matters where I put the earth. There seems to be continuity everywhere. So I'll probably use one of the screws that mount the tray to the base, because they're easily accessible, and then I don't have to drill any fresh holes in it. So that's probably what I'll do. So I've got to do that, and then also, yeah, connect the rest of it up and work out a cable routing. There is a panel that goes on the back here. Doesn't fit very well at the moment because I've put the 0.75 horsepower motor in, which is bigger than the original motor, so it sticks out that way. So I'll have to modify the panel to actually fit in there, but I would like to use it because it'll just keep all the muck from falling down the back. So and also it'll keep the cables in for the DRO, keep them trapped in that area, because I don't really want them hanging down the back and rubbing against the tray every time you traverse up and down. I'd like them sort of coiled around. So I think I'm going to do that, but at a later date. For now, I just like to get it up and running. So I'm going to sort out the wiring, and then we'll give it a test. Right, so this is how the wiring ended up in the end. Wiring comes out here, does a loop, and then joins up with the main wiring here from the motor. So that's the three-phase down there, and then this grey wire, that's for the little control panel. So I also added an earth that's connected here and follows this red wire, which is our e-stop and enable over there. And they all follow along together. Once they get to this main cable, I've just cable tied them together, and they just go around. It's not ideal, into the back of the DRO over there. At some point I'll be putting a socket on the wall somewhere around here, I think, because the lathe power at the moment is just coming out of this kettle lead into an extension. So I haven't had the garage wired up yet at the moment. I'm just running off an extension cable from the main house, so still some work to do there, but yeah, it'll come at some point. I've got some more building to get done before we get the electrician in to do all of that. But anyway, in the meantime, it's all set up and seems to be working. So go back to the main camera. Yeah, so we're all set up now. I'll switch it on. You might have noticed it flashes mill 2 for 2-axis milling machine. I did set it to 2-axis lathe, but for some reason you can't set the x-axis to read diameter when it's in milling mode. When it's in lathe mode. It only seems to work when it's in milling mode, which makes no sense at all, but that's the way it is. As far as getting into the parameters, there's not a lot you need to set. You have to turn it on and then press enter right when it comes up with that machine type, and then you can scroll through the parameters here. That one there, R or D, is the radius or diameter. So I've got the axis set to 1 for diameter and the z-axis set to 0 for radius, or just simple distance. that's one parameter that probably needs checking. Also, the direction of motion, you know, which is negative and which is positive. I didn't have to change it, but some people might have to. Once you're done messing with these parameters, all you have to do is scroll until it says quit, hit enter, and you're back on the main screen, and all your parameters are saved. So yeah, it does seem to be working. I'll take a cut. Let's take a little cut. One thing to mention, I've got those link belts in this lathe and they slip really easily. So I've got them really tight at the moment. It's really tight. And still you end up with a bit of slipping. I can take a cut up to about 1 mil with no belt slip. Over that, you know, it's not ideal. At some point I'm going to change these belts out for the standard belts. But it does work. And you've got your speed control here. Forward and reverse. And you can come right down to really slow speed if you want, without even going into the gearing. I think I'm on this, I can't remember what gear I'm on at the moment. But anyways, we'll just touch on. In fact, we'll need to, I can't remember which way this wants to go now. Let's find out. Very noisy gearbox. You have been warned. Yeah, that's the right way around. So we just take a light cut. We're not trying to be clever now, we're just going to take a light cut. Must admit, since polishing these slideways with a bit of grinding compound, it cuts a lot better. So there was obviously a lot of rattle on that slideway. But right, so we're now at 29.95. And what I'll do is I'll take a cut to 29. Oops. So 1 millimeter off diameter. You can hear it slowing down. And if we measure that, hey? Oh yeah. If we measure that, we're at, I suppose you won't see that, but it actually measures 28.99. 28.99. So I'm quite happy with that. I think the lathe's working quite well now, to be honest. I mean, there's loads of benefits to having a DRO. First of all, there's no scale on the Z-axis at all. So how you're supposed to machine to length, you need to use the compound. So now at least we have a scale on the Z-axis. Secondly, because it's an imperial lathe, I don't have to worry about that now. I can work in metric quite easily just using the DRO. And thirdly, it's just an easier way of machining. You know, I've just retracted the tool at the end of that cut. If I want to get back to that same position, I can just wind in. And because the scales are reading directly they eliminate the effect of any backlash on any of the screws or anything like that. So now we're back exactly at, well, exactly at 29. Try another cut and see if it even touches. Yeah, it's taken a tickle. That'll be just flex in the machine, I suppose. I must admit, I'm not used to this machine at all. I haven't really done much turning on it. Yeah, so we took 0.03 off there. Not too bad. Just teaches you the value of taking a finishing cut. Surface finish for a piece of mild steel isn't bad either, to be honest. So this lathe is going to, as I go through it and sort out all the niggly little issues, it'll get better and better, I think. But it's definitely an improvement over my other little Chinese-made lathe mill combo machine that doesn't have power feeds, and I wouldn't even bother trying to fit a DRO to that. So yeah, so on the whole, I'm very happy with the way this turned out. Highly recommend this stuff. Total cost in the end was about £112, which I think is pretty good considering. Yeah, it all came direct from China, but to be honest, I've been having so much success with AliExpress these days. Most of it takes 5 days. I remember the glass scale took a lot longer, and it was in a very badly damaged box. And I'm pretty sure it was meant to come with some screws and things, which never came. But it's in one piece. It's working. The magnetic scale and the display unit, they only took a few days to get. Yeah, less than a week. And yeah, for the whole thing, 112 quid. It's pretty good, I think. Well, it remains to see how long it lasts, but for now, I'm very happy. It's functioning, and it wasn't too difficult to fit, and I think I've got quite a tidy installation. The way we don't have any scale in the way of anything over here, in the way of the tailstock. Can barely even tell it's there. So I think I'm gonna conclude there. Call this project complete, and then might as well turn this off and that. Call this project complete, and then hopefully get back to something else soon. Once I've finished building a utility and putting a roof on it and a catio and a few other things. So I'd like to get back to the Cafe Racer project as soon as possible, but it's going to be a little while still because I've got other things I need to finish first. But at least the new garage is up, and I will be doing a video on that as well at some point. In particular, the cost comparison between having a builder build you a new garage and managing it yourself. Not building it yourself, just managing it yourself. Although we did build the roof. But there's a massive difference in cost. So I will be doing a video on that at some point. But in the meantime, I really appreciate you watching. Thanks very much, and I'll see you again soon.